especially when he's excited. Now I'm starting the session stood up because that helps at least alleviate some of his excitement. But when I come down to his level, that's going to trigger the excitement more, and that's where the owners are noticing that the biting is at its worst.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
There we go. So as you can see there, quick example of it, as he gets more excited, and the owners want to be able to play with him, they've also got grandchildren, and grandchildren naturally ramp the energy levels up. And when you come down to a dog's level, which small children tend to be, as you can see, the licking very quickly, there you go, nibble turns into nibbling and biting. And he's just had a right good go on my ear there, which I'm letting him get away with for now, so I can show it you on camera. Ow. So again, it's everything in my being to not address this, but I think it's important that you see how quickly these things, yeah, on the ears again, definitely seems to be your favourite, doesn't it? How quickly these things can escalate if you don't get on top of them quickly. So then guys, I'm about to address biting, and so much happens so quickly in this live clip that it's really important that we cut back and forward between the live example that you're about to see, but with me explaining the theory, the why, the what and the how, so that you can replicate and get the same results at home. Now when it comes to addressing biting incredibly quickly, I utilise my 3-step process to be able to do that. That 3-step process is that we must correct the undesirable behaviour, we then redirect to the desirable behaviour, and then we reinforce the desirable behaviour. That is how we are able to have such huge amounts of success. So then the first step is correction. Now when it comes to correcting your dog, you have to use beautiful timing. So you have to wait for that moment that your puppy, young dog or even adult dog makes that decision to open its mouth and put a body part, whether it's your hands, your face, your arm, whatever it is that your dog bites, that split second they make the decision to do it, we have to correct it swiftly. When it comes to biting, I believe that you have 2 approaches to correction. You've got an active correction and you've got a passive correction. In the clip that you're about to see, I utilise an active correction. I use my verbal correction with a minor touch correction. So when Bertie goes to bite me, I use a shh noise, stern verbal correction, and with a slight touch just on the side of his body, just to let him know, hey, no, that is not acceptable. I repeat that process twice to make it clear. First one startles him and he goes, oh, I'm not quite sure what that's for. His energy starts to ramp up and he goes to mouth again. And with a slight touch, the touch is nothing more than, it's not designed to cause harm, it's just designed to startle them. That corrects the behaviour. Now, if you feel uncomfortable administering an active correction like that, which I do believe is the best approach, a passive correction can work incredibly well as well, but I'm going to talk about that after you watch the live example of me correcting Bertie's biting behaviour. Good boy, good boy. So that is an example of an active correction, but if you don't feel that you are confident or assertive or like the concept of administering a correction like that, then you can utilise a passive correction. For biting, what I recommend, same principle, it has to be timed efficiently, but as soon as the dog makes the decision to decide to start to mouth, you grab them by the collar. We're not talking about grabbing them by the scruff of the neck to design harm, but we grab them by the collar and we hold them sternly. Look them directly in the eye and use your verbal correction. So as the biting begins to happen, and you hold until the energy starts to decrease. When they start to relax, yes, and we let go. If they ramp the behaviour back up again, same principle. Grab them, verbal correction, and hold. We're not shaking them, we're not hurting, we're just holding them in place and waiting for the energy to come down. As soon as that energy starts to come down, we can let go and let them know, yeah, that's what it is that we're looking for. So that's how we correct the undesirable behaviour of puppy biting. But then it's important that not only do we let our dogs know what we don't want them to do, but we also have to be fair and make it very clear what we do want them to do. So that's where step 2 comes in, and we redirect our dogs. Ideally, you want to redirect the biting onto something that is equally as fun for them to bite, and that is why I designed our Fenrir hammer. And in the example you're about to see, I correct Bertie's biting behaviour. I wait for his energy levels to start to come down slightly, then I replace it and I redirect him onto the hammer, and I get that energy level back up but onto the hammer. I've redirected that energy away from me, my ears, my face, my hair and my hands, and onto the hammer. And because the hammer's designed to be so incredibly fun for the dog, it's a very easy redirection for them to make. Good boy, yes. Good boy, yes. Good. Good boy, yeah, good boy, good boy. Good boy, yes, good boy. Yes, good boy. So then after we've redirected onto the desirable thing, we simply need to reinforce that behavior. Let them know, great job. Now, ideally, as part of your training with your dog, you'll have been using marker terms like yes, or even a clicker. So when they're chewing the right things, we can say yes, or click, and then you can either pay them with treats, or you could give them a stroke, or just the simple act of saying yes and letting them know, good job. We're reinforcing that behavior. Then as we move forward, we want to make sure that we're finding times where the dog is chewing the desirable object on their own, of their own accord, and we're going to mark and reinforce that as much as possible. And what's going to happen is that them chewing the right thing is going to happen much more frequently. If they make the bad decision of chewing you, biting on you again, we're going to correct it either actively or passively, which means that that undesirable behavior is going to happen less frequently. And to increase how fast the desirable behavior happens, we combine the two with redirection. So we correct the undesirable behavior, so biting happens less frequently. We redirect them to the desirable behavior, and then we reinforce that behavior so that behavior happens more frequently. The bad behavior decreases and disappears, and we're left with an incredible desirable behavior that happens first time every time. So now let's cut back to the live example of me doing this with Bertie, and let's watch this unfold in real time to show you just how incredibly quickly this process can happen. Good boy, good boy, good boy, good. Good boy, yes, good boy, yes, good. Good boy, yeah, good boy, good boy, good boy, yes, good boy, yes, good boy. Then that goes away. So that was a real-time example of exactly how I deal with puppy biting, and as you can see how quickly that problem can be addressed. Now I'm going to try and proof it for you here and see if we can go through that process again. I'm almost going to be a little bit unfair with Bertie. I'm going to put his redirection hammer away and see if I can egg him up again to show you the process. Now this is something that I have done countless times, and can you see the difference in his demeanour and his energy levels now, where I can now greet him and he's in a calm, respectful position. He's now starting to even become submissive, but he's respecting my space much better. World of difference. And that was addressed in, as you saw, maybe 5 or 10 seconds. I haven't offended him. He's still happy to be with me. He wants to play. I'm going to see if I can rile him back up. Oh, Bertie, 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 Bertie. Oh, Bertie, hello. But still, he's being respectful. He still is happy, go-lucky, friendly, excitable Bertie that we love. Where you going? And again, bringing my face right down to him. This was a real big trigger, especially offering in my ears. But he's being respectful, much more respectful. And I'm going to wait, hopefully, bring him back to me, get that lovely, desirable behaviour back from him. Yeah, good. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Now I'm going to reinforce that behaviour and let him know exactly what it is that I do want him to chew, which is our Fenrir hammer. Yeah, good boy. You can go take that. You go play with that. Good boy. I'll play with it with you. Oh, yes. Oh. Get it. Good boy. So that is exactly how I address puppy biting, adolescent dog biting, and even adult dog playful biting. I make it very clear to them what I don't want. I make it very clear to them what I do want, and puppy biting very often, in the space of seconds, disappears. So correct, redirect, reinforce. Do it swiftly from a place of love, because you love your dogs. You must lead your dogs. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like it if you did, subscribe if you're new, because we do videos like this, helping you have the perfect canine companion of your dreams every single week. And I can't wait to see you on the next episode.